So today I wanted to talk to you about lessons learned in 2024 since this is the Christmas holiday season or the holiday season, and I'm rapidly approaching a new year. Such a big year. And lessons learned. The first thing that really pops up for me is patience. I'm kind of a results oriented gal, and I also like to be in touch. And so two things that really played a role in creating patience or the opportunity for patience for me this year was my son, Sam, being in recovery, which I'm super grateful for. And he continues to do really, really well, 19 months. But earlier in the year, what I would say is I didn't hear much from him. And as somebody who has really been involved in his journey quite a bit and consistently, not having regular contact with him began to kind of wear on me. And what I'd say is that the habitual thoughts that go with this journey of potentially worrying, thinking that something's wrong, having those intrusive thoughts and heartache show up, I really needed to work on putting them to bed and relieving them of trying to take care of me, so to speak. And so I needed to just decide to be patient with Sam's journey. This was going to be his journey. It wasn't going to be mine. And so my journey was to learn to be patient with his journey. And in a weird way, be patient with my own journey because I needed to relax. And I needed to breathe more. I needed to believe more in his ability to stay in recovery, but also my ability to handle whatever came up. My resiliency muscle continued to grow and grow and grow. And and then the other thing that is coming to me as I'm talking to you about this today is, I did a TED Talk on April 20th. It wasn't released until September, but going into memorizing it and getting ready to do it, I didn't have a lot of conversation with Sam about what he thought about it. Was it okay with him? And he finally did okay everything. Not that he wouldn't have, but I wasn't sure about like how to have that conversation with him because here I was going to be on a TED stage and I was going to talk about some of the raw and real experiences in our journey. And so before I made too much stuff up about what he was going to say or what he was going to feel about it, I needed to make sure I checked in with him and made sure that he was okay with it. And so I did. Instead of going on and making stuff up in my own mind and getting myself all exercised about what he might say, I just asked. And he was great. And and so then the patience became, and what I would say positivity, also is what I learned, and peace is what I learned, and persistence is what I learned. And a lot of P's here. So positivity in really truly believing that this journey was going to serve a larger purpose. My journey was going to serve a larger purpose, and his journey was going to serve a larger purpose. And I have really stayed true to that in the entire year of 2024. That notion that all of this is meant to serve. And keeping that front and center on a daily basis has been really important for me. I have reminders in my phone that keep me very focused on the fact that that's in fact what's going to happen. No matter what happens here, this is all going to serve people and hopefully give them a window into not only the pain and the courage that it takes to witness someone suffering, but also my own suffering and allowing that suffering and that pain to move through me and not get stuck. And to share that pain while also understanding that as I shared my pain and moved through it and then came to different ways of dealing with my pain that helped me to move from crisis to surviving to struggling and really to be, for the most part, in thriving this year on a consistent basis, being in a healthy place on a consistent basis. I was persistent in pursuing thriving. And those reminders are all built into my phone. I see them every single morning when I wake up in the morning. And keeping it front and center as an aspiration was mission critical for me. It wasn't like I could just set an intention and then hope that somehow it would happen every day. It has been work to set those intentions and to persistently, patiently, peacefully, and positively live into those intentions every single day. Another thing that really came up that has taken some work on my part was the journey of my spouse, which has been in some ways very different than mine. And they reached the point this year that was different than mine. And I really did need to lean into the struggle of, did their journey have to be the same? Did they have to be in the same place that I was with Sam's journey? How was I going to navigate kind of very different ways of dealing with this? One was I was willing to still love and be in contact and never give up. And the other really needed a complete break because the pain of witnessing my son suffering and not knowing if he was going to pull out the other side or if he was going to have a relapse again and again and again became too much and unbearable. And so my spouse's decision to completely disconnect, and in some ways I frame it as take a sabbatical, was something for me to work with and work through and to honor. I've talked a lot about being able to hold the space for others' journeys. And holding the space for Sam has been, for the most part, fairly clear to me. And it's easier, honestly, for me to do because he is my son. Holding the space for my spouse when they took a completely different approach was a learning opportunity for me. There was a gift embedded in that. And it continued to fuel my learning, my skilling up, my sense of positivity and persistence in who I chose to be in the midst of this, my sense of peace in my own choices, and my sense in peace in their choices. And finally, the patience to be calm when things got tough. So I would say those are a lot of the lessons that I learned in the trial of some fires this year and have stayed consistent in my belief that these are aspirations that I hold for myself. And I'm not willing to lay them aside because others can't. I'm not willing to be challenged in each of these areas and then give up. I'm willing to absorb and take these on and believe that I will find a way to maintain peace and patience and persistence and positivity while all serving a larger purpose. And that really is for those of us who loves someone who's dealing with substance use disorder, the larger purpose is for us to believe that there's hope, that there's positivity, there's possibility, there's creativity in all of this. And I recently was interviewed and I said, I I wrestled with, what if Sam relapsed and OD'd and he actually did pass away? Who would I be then? And I was really clear. Of course, I would be heartbroken and grief-stricken and know that his life and my journey and his journey was still always going to serve a larger purpose for people. So I would share the journey of grief. I've had several people on, a person that I completely adore in the early year of the podcast, Jim Horton, who I've learned so much from in terms of his sharing his grief about the loss of his son. There's always a way to still move through and have moments of grief and still live a life of joy, still laugh, still have moments of happiness, and serve those who are still in the trenches of dealing with this disease. So those are the lessons. Look back and see, what are the lessons that you've learned this year? What have been embedded in this 2024 that have been gifts and opportunities for you to learn? The moments that have been the most challenging for me have also been the greatest teachers. What have been your greatest teachers? And therefore, your greatest lessons? As we end this year, I want you to know that I think of all of us out there who are dealing with somebody that we love, whether it's a family member or a friend. And I ask you to continue to strive to live a healthy life, to continue to thrive, to continue to be an example of peace, love, persistence, patience, purpose, and positivity. Here's to 2025. And again, all the lessons that are coming next year. God bless and take care.